Hi everyone, it's Corinna Chong. I'm going to be reading to you from the first pages of my novel, Badland. I often imagine how Jez would have seen it. There she is, Ricky's passenger in the rust-pocked Buick as it speeds down the 9 and veers north, tracing the ridgeline that scars the golden pelt of the prairies. She watches the land become a dry crust, the beige of dead skin, sprouting tufts of sagebrush and stray grasses combed flat by the wind. Then the puckered hills begin to swell out of the earth, growing higher, wider, bearing their stripes of ancient rock and clay and ash, layer upon layer. As the Buick sinks into the valley, the hills knit together behind them, closing them in. "Welcome to dinosaur country," says the sign at the edge of town. It is not unusual here to see a velociraptor or a T-Rex riding in the bed of a truck. You might even see one with a saddle, reins even. Dinosaurs, especially carnivorous ones, sell things here. But for me, it will always be the city of bones, since bones are, truth be told, all that's left of what once was. My brother always called this a fake town, which was why it so perplexed me to see him back. When Ricky was a boy, someone at school got him onto the word fake. Our Mutti's bosom, as she bent down to hand us our lunch pails, like antiques compared to the plastic sacks of our classmates. "Did you know your mom's boobies are fake?" the other boy said to him. He was a very pale child, all freckled up and down his skinny arms. "Fake?" Ricky said. Mutti never used the word, but he knew it was not a kind thing to say. "So?" he shot back. Mutti's breasts, of course, were not fake. They were merely large and very round and glossy, like fish bowls. She wore blouses with scooped, ruffled necklines to fringe their roundness. I didn't think the incident had fazed Ricky. He was always good at masking how much he took things to heart. But the word came up again soon after, when we were strung along on the requisite sightseeing trip with Mutti's Aunt Regina, straight from Dresden. My namesake, as you might guess. Her annual visits always involved a trip to see the world's largest dinosaur, during which all of us would pretend it wasn't exactly the same as the year before. I see Tante Regina always as just a large head, detached from its body, cat-eyed with thick black liner, with a wide, grinning mouth and an auburn beehive staked on top. A large head signaled a large intellect, according to Mutti. Ricky and I trailed behind Tante Regina through the parking lot, the tail to her kite. The wind was surging that day, whipping tree branches and shaking leaves loose. Tante Regina held her hair up with both hands as though balancing a vase. She came upon the towering concrete T-Rex and sat herself on its giant yellow toenail. Her gaze traveled upward and her mouth opened, teeth parting. "Guck mal, wie riesig," she muttered. "Look how big." The T-Rex stood inert, fixed in mock stride against the living valley beyond. The hills in the distance churned in the wind, their tangled grasses writhing. "It's only fake," Ricky replied in English. "It's not even to scale. Tyrannosaurus Rex was only an average of 12 meters long." He knew that Tante Regina could not understand him. She simply smiled, pointed up at the creature's collection of thorny teeth. "He eat you, maybe?" she said, grinning. Ricky's face then, his expression turned sore in the jaw, as though he'd been chewing on a piece of toffee that had proven too much work. I remember it still, dozens of years later. The expression that showed Ricky understood then how the world was full of fake, and there was nothing he could do to change it. The T-Rex was everything he hated about Drumheller. His fear of being eaten up by it, captured in that face. I recognized it immediately when it met me again, on the day Ricky finally returned.